This is your city. This is your city wants to know. We want to know the background, the heartbeat of what makes up our beautiful cities. We dig into the backstories, from the struggles to the successes of our local entrepreneurs, small business owners, artists, not-for-profit organizations, and the many, many people who make up the intricate tapestry of our communities. Real people, real stories, by you and for you. But wait, that's not it. I love giving my opinion. Just ask anyone who knows me. We can't get enough of the honest, gritty feedback of places that we spend our hard-earned money. I'll give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of the places I eat, sleep, and visit. Disclaimer, my opinion only. All right, so come on, let's get to it. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on This Is Your City. This is Kim, your host, and today's episode is Finding Your Pathway to Personal Success. And it's based on the book, Work Your Words. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting with not only the most energetic man I've ever met, but his accolades are off the charts. He has obtained degrees in medical biology, exercise science, and a master's science in kinesiology. He's a well sought after public speaker. He's a teacher and an author. And if that weren't enough, he's also the founder of Work-Life Enrichment Seminars. And I would completely run out of time and not be able to have time to speak in this interview if I kept going on with everything this man has and continues to accomplish. All of that sounds great, right? And it is. But it's how he got here, how he rose to the success that's amazing. He grew up in a foster home in Jamaica, tribulations that met him there that we don't even want to imagine. Went to school once a week, if he was lucky.
Yes.
And that's only part of the history, and that's only part of the story. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to be transfixed. I introduce to you Mr. Andrew Guy. Hello, Andrew. Hi. Thank you for joining us tonight.
You are welcome. I'm happy to be here. Considering all that's going on, I am here in spirit and in truth. And just want to start off by saying congratulations on your podcast.
Thank you.
Stepping out there on faith. You, Peter, you walking on water, you.
Yes.
I'm excited. When everyone is still in the boat, man, you said, no, I've got to know what it feels like to have water underneath my feet.
Yes.
Now you know you have water underneath your feet. Keep on stepping.
Yes. Well, you've heard before, if you want to walk on water, you have to get out of the boat.
That's right. That's correct.
Right? All right. Well, Andrew, listen, you're a terribly busy man, so I do appreciate you being here.
Yes, you're welcome.
You are all over social media. You're all over the stage. You're everywhere. I see you everywhere. So you are here, and I'm so grateful. And what I like to do is I kind of like to go back in time. I like to start things like a time machine.
Okay.
So I want the listeners to know the man behind the success.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you're okay with it, can you take us back to where I said in the introduction? Can you take us back to Jamaica?
Okay, I can. First, I want to just say a huge thanks to God for the opportunity to be here, because I believe with Him all things are possible and remains possible. A lot of people may wear the accolades, or they may wear the label of what it means to be a believer. But I think that when you think about believing is an action for me. And so I want to give God the praise, give Him the glory, give Him the credit for all that He's done. Everything, every success, books, whatever you want to call it, speaking engagement, doesn't matter. It's all attributed to Him. And I want to make sure I say that, because a lot of people, when they get the so-called success, so to speak, they really forget where they're coming from. And since we're talking about where we're coming from, let's go ahead and start there.
All right.
I was born and raised in Jamaica. born in Kingston Jubilee Hospital, and then later on moved to what they call the country part of Jamaica. I guess there's more green there, so to speak. My story started really, I wouldn't call it a story, but I would call it a journey, so to speak, because I think everyone has this journey that they're on. And my mom, she wanted a better life for us. She had 6 children, and it was tough for her because we couldn't even afford food at times. There are days we go without food. And it wasn't because there were a lot of things that were kind of limited to us. First of all, leadership in the house was one. And this is why I'm so adamant about men knowing their role in the home and in the house. There's 2 different parts to that. And so we'll get into that later on. But the thing that I notice is that when leadership breaks down in the house, it calls for frustration. It calls for struggle, unnecessary struggle, so to speak. But I wouldn't say, and not to speak ill about my father, because I believe that we can't choose the fathers that we get in life. I believe that the Lord chose that for us. And I think whatever we go through in life, it really is almost like a diamond in the rough. You don't really see the diamond at first. You see a piece of coal, right? Mm-hmm. And you never know what that dark piece of coal is going to look like until you put it under pressure, until you put it under immense heat, right? And the more pressure, the more heat. Wow. Everybody loves a diamond, right? And that's what it's all about. And so for me, it was a stressful time. I was about 6 years old. I can remember when, my mom left Jamaica to come to Canada, and her goal was to get here. And her prayer was, Lord, just get me to a place where I can change my children's life and my faith, my entire belief system, my determination, my will and ability to get out there and make things happen. I get that from my mom. And I just want to say thanks to all the moms out there. If you're continuing to become and to be an example for your youth in the house, kudos to you. Keep doing your due. And I really, I have a soft spot and a hard spot for moms. Soft spot meaning that look at you go, and a hard spot that never look back. There's no you can't. There is no can't. Zig Ziglar said there is no can't. What does a can't look like? I know what a can look like. Right. I can put stuff in there, right? But, she left when I was like 6 years old, probably about, when you put your sons or your child to bed and everything is great. And you get up in the morning and mom is not there. What? You mean mom put me to bed and where is she? She's gone. And there was no answer. No one says, okay, she went here or she went there. You don't know where she's gone. And this is the parent that you've been with for 6 years, right? And she's gone. And so didn't hear anything for many, many years, and then found out that she went away. Yes, for many years. Yeah. That she is gone. And the goal was to, make sure she can get a better life for us. And to piggyback off that, mom is a big believer on the scripture that says, I look unto the hills from whence cometh my help. She used to sit by this window, and the house that we used to live in, it was so lean. Listen to me, it just leaned to the side like this. I mean, hurricanes pass all the time, and I think it just evades our house. It just really, it goes everywhere else except that house, because if it will come down. And we've always heard her told this story that her goal was to pray that the Lord will keep his hands on the house so it wouldn't fall down. And for years, it's been doing that. But she left, and, I was placed into foster homes because many of the family members that we had didn't really want to take us and so forth. And that's the reality of many of the children in Jamaica when parents go away to a different country or wherever. There's somebody has to step up and to help out and stuff like that with the nurturing. No one was really willing to do that at the time. So we were in some foster homes and so forth, and it was really tough. Beating was on the regular. Abuse was the thing of the day. And so crying was just another way of saying hallelujah. One day I will get out of this. So
Wow.
it was horrific stuff that I've been through. And I don't say that for pity. I say that for a praise, because I can sit here and say, oh, poor me, look at my story. But when I think of Joseph and the stuff that he's been through, and he became the governor of Egypt, I said, Lord, I thank you that you were able to keep me through all of this. So he gets the glory, he gets the praise, and that's basically what it's about. But we spend quite a bit of time there, and there was a situation where and this is a delicate part of the story, because I'm working on a book with my mom, and I won't share the title of it, but it's where this man, a neighbor, a stranger, was living next, like probably I would say about a couple yards away, and every day the beatings and so forth will happen, and he just got sick and tired of it, like literally. It wasn't related to us, just got tired of it. And he came down there late at night, and I can remember the lights were flashing and there was a commotion, and he took me and my brother from these people, just took. You don't even hear what I'm saying. So I've been saved um, twice. I've been saved by grace, by Christ, right? And then Christ sent this man to come and just snatch us.
Wow.
The book is going
I
to
didn't
be
even know about
amazing.
that.
You hear what I'm saying? And just
Yeah.
snatch us and say, listen, I'm taking these two boys. And all the leadership, all the tenacity, yes, from mom, but this man really taught us how to be men, you
Right.
know, and raised us until we were, I think about, like, say about 12 years old. And then after, we went to another foster home. And it was just foster home after foster home. But my greatest experience in Jamaica really was living with this man. And the man's name is Rupert Samuel Blackwood. And in 2014 of February, we went down to bury him. And I'm telling you, the whole neighborhood came out, because this man, he was 6'5", about over 250 pounds of chiseled muscle. He was a beast, but tender and gentle. Oh my goodness. Everything that I've known about being a father, really, this man is
Wow.
attributed to it.
Wow.
So, not to take any credit away from my biological father, but I think that sometimes we can only play the game based on the cards that we were dealt. And I don't know his cards that were given to him. I don't know how he went about dealing with them, or he played that game, but apparently there was a lot missing. So I can't blame him for that. But I realized that when we talk about men, we are missing a lot of things. We are missing a lot of tools in our toolbox. So we don't really know how to fix what needs to be fixed.
Right.
And so we get with women or marry beautiful women, and we don't know how to take care of them because we don't have the tools in our toolboxes, right?
Right.
So that's kind of the beginning of how it went.
That is so powerful. And Andrew, just listening to how you're speaking the grace in you about your biological father, that would be something very difficult for most people to do, myself included. I've never met my father, well, maybe once, but I don't have any ill will towards him, but the words that come out of your mouth are so full of love. And I just want to say thank you for that. That's a teaching moment right there.
Yes.
And one of the reasons that I wanted to have this conversation, Andrew, is because of that, your great love and your great grace and wisdom. There are so many people out there, young children out there, who can look at you and see where you came from.
Right.
And say, wow, like, if he could do this,
yes,
if he can climb his way to success, so can I.
Yes, you can.
They can look back at that and say, I had a role model. You don't always have to know your role model personally.
No, you don't.
But to hear stories from people such as yourself gives hope.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons I wanted to have this interview with you.
Right. Correct.
And so I do thank you for that. And everybody, if you haven't already grabbed your Kleenex box, it's beautiful. Yes. So you were in Jamaica. You had this amazing, incredible man of, more than likely situated from God, obviously.
Right. That's exactly right.
This. You went to another few foster homes after that. How did you end up in the United States? Because I know you graduated from the Southern Arkansas University.
That's correct.
How did you end up there from Jamaica?
Well, it was by the grace of God. Finally, everything came to it. This is years of prayer and praying. And before I get there, I like to make sure we get the story correct.
Yes.
I used to lay down on my back outside and look up in the skies, and I see the stars. And anyone that moved, I said, "Mom is on that plane." And I used to pray that prayer like every single day when I was in foster home. And I would say, "Mom is on that plane." I used to pray. I said, "Lord, I know you're going to bring her back." And I used to tell her, she should cry and said, "Oh, his mom." I said, "She's coming back. She's going to be on one of those planes." Right. And on Sunday, October the 30th at 1988, we left Jamaica. My mom came down and picked up all of her children.
All of them.
Our prayer was, "Lord, get me to a country where I can come back and take care of my children." She came back and picked them all up.
Wow.
And we flew off on this plane and we touched down in Pearson. I'm telling you, the book is going to be amazing. You hear what I'm saying? And we're considering and making it into a movie. And I'm hoping that the Lord will touch people's heart, because this is something that is going to empower women, especially mothers who may not have had the accolades of a university degree or something like that, but they have a PhD in life. Do you hear what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
And so this is a story that, well, it's anyway, let me continue. But we got here and spent many years in Jane and Finch. And so they call it the rough place, the place where nothing good comes out of. I beg to differ. Let me make a correction. Jane and Finch is only an intersection. It's not an area. It's not a people. It's not a place. It's just an intersection. So it doesn't matter where you're coming from. It's where you're going that makes the difference.
That's right.
All right. So I want to encourage all of you guys that are out there, whether you're a youth, whether you're a girl or a boy, a young man, doesn't matter. It's not where you're coming from. Okay, Joseph, you may have gone through the pit and everywhere else, but the Lord has something for you. And let me tell you something. He said the gifts that he has for you. I was listening to a scripture in Romans the other day. He said he doesn't take it back.
That's right.
They are for you and they're meant for you. So I went to Westview High School, Centennial High School out there in Oakdale, and I struggled. I struggled a lot. And this is the reason why I am so adamant about empowering youth and students, because I couldn't read. I didn't get a chance to go to school. So I couldn't read, and I was frustrated. I spent most of my time in high school locked in the library, counting letters, words, trying to figure things out. And I was just so frustrated. And one day it clicked. Do you hear what I'm saying? It clicked. And I mean, in my office now, my home office, there's books everywhere. I am reading all the time. I feel like I'm missing out on something.
Right.
And I got to know a couple of good friend of mine, Steve Anderson. He's the deputy mayor currently of Shelburne, Ontario. We grew up in Jane and Finch area together. He's went on to university to become a lawyer and all these different things. So, and it's about putting yourself around the right people. I didn't put myself, the Lord just put us there. And we managed to get our way out of the area, so to speak, by working hard and not holding a pity party for ourselves, but saying that, listen, this is the cards that have been dealt. I'm going to play, and I'm going to play hard, and I'm going to come out to be something. So I applied to different schools. I love basketball, wanted to play basketball, went to Seneca College, and didn't get a chance to play. And I applied to some schools in the United States, and I applied to Southern Arkansas University, and I got accepted there. And I said, okay, fine. If I get into university there, it doesn't matter what's happening. I don't care if I have to walk. I am going to get there. and crazy enough, I had a 1984 Rabbit GTI, a Volkswagen, and the car was just, it was like a jalopy, but I think it was a Mercedes to me,
yes.
Right? I took it to the mechanic. The mechanic said, hey, man, I said, I got into school and I don't have any way of going there. I'm going to drive this thing, right? So I contacted CAA and they gave me the maps It's like 3.5 days drive.
And your mechanic didn't beg you not to take that car?
Yes, he did. He said, if it makes it there, I'll pay you, right? I said, okay, fine. I'm going to make it. The maps, I still keep the maps. I still have them. Because when I go out and do conferences, I show these kids, I said, this is where I had to drive. And I drove, I went to the junkyard, I took off parts, and then I put the car together in my driveway. My mom sat there and watched me, said, oh my gosh, Lord. And they're crying to the Lord, right? And then when I look up at the window, she pretend like she's not crying. She looked away like, you know, like, and I'm putting this car together. I'm not a mechanic. I don't have a degree, or I have nothing. I said, Lord, show me how to do this thing. So he gave me wisdom. He said, when you go, have the graphics, right? And then go underneath there, have a pen and a paper, and then ask question, right? Because ask and you shall be given. And he started pointing. He said, that's terrible. That needs to be changed. I said, oh yeah, what is that called, right? And you hear what I'm saying? And he's like, okay, you should scrap this car. I said, why? This got to go. This got to go. These tie rods, what's a tie rod? That sounds like a piece of meat. These got to go. The drive axles have got to go. They're busted. They're holes. The bearings are coming out. No, buddy, do me a favor. Just scrap this. Scrap it, okay? Arkansas, I will pay you if it get there. Kim, it took about 2 hours walking around the car telling me what's garbage, right? But who knows, for such a time as this, like Esther, right? When people look at you and they put a label on you and they give you a can't, you have to take the the apostrophe T and put a can up in there. You understand? So you can put what you need to put your dreams in a can so you can make can possible.
My smile is so big right now. My cheeks are hurting.
Oh my gosh. It's not just I am possible. It's can possible.
That's right.
And so it took me about 3 weeks in the driveway working. I was just greasy and black. I'm a dark brother, right? I was black when I was finished. There was grease everywhere. And I'm there now putting this thing together, trial and error, and then worked on the car. And then, man, I asked questions around mechanics and everything else, and went to the library, look at books and stuff like that, because knew I figured out the reading thing, right? My gosh. And then when we got this car together, I said, if this car start, Lord, I'm going. The car started.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. It was a tearful moment. I was jumping up and down in the driveway like Shirley Caesar when she sang that song, I Remember Mama. And Mom was just like, are you okay? I lost it. Finally, got the car together. Mom made up a whole bunch of foods and stuff like that. And I drove for 4 days.
All the way to Arkansas.
Alone. When I got to Southern Arkansas University, I was locked in a contracture. From a kinesiological perspective, it means that when a joint don't move and it stays rigid in a certain spot or angle, it will lock. And I had to throw myself out of the car and roll on the ground. All I heard was pop, pop, pop. All the gases within my joints started to escape. And that's where my journey started. Went to Southern Arkansas. I didn't have any money or anything like that. And I worked hard. I worked in the soup kitchen. They call it the cafeteria. I worked at a computer lab. I taught myself how to work on computers. And then I was doing all these different jobs, sweeping up on the campus everywhere, cut grass, whatever I could to make money to pay for tuition. It was really, really, really tough. But to God be the glory.
Yes. Amen. Yes. Now, listen, did your mechanic end up paying for your trip?
You know what? I should have gone back. No, he didn't. The guy owes me. You guys owe me big time, but he didn't. But the Lord is good, man. He's good. I remember Acts 17 said he works through us. It's will. He empower us to will and to do. He works through us. It's not for us, through. But yes, so that's how that happened.
That's wonderful. There's a few cut-off sections on the audio here, so hopefully it'll be fine when we play it back. But
all right, I hope so too.
Yes,
I hope so.
So you do that, you get your degree.
Yeah, so I did that, and I was doing recreational. My major was recreational science before, and then after I didn't feel a challenge. And I was like getting A's and all these different things. And I was like, whoa, this is too easy. This got to be something else. So I was praying and I was praying. I was like, Lord, what do I need to do? So I started talking to a couple of gentlemen that were doing biology because they look smart, right? And they walk differently. They walk with their chin up. One day I'm going to be a doctor. I'm like, yeah, right. And then I started talking to these guys. But here's the crazy part. I used to work on the computers for the staff, right? So I got this job on campus and I was fixing the computer, but I was always called to the science department. And one of my, this gentleman who became my professor, Dr. Johnson, and he was the microbiology professor. And I used to go and work on his computer and stuff like that. And there's another gentleman, Mr. Dr. Robeson. I used to go work on their computers. And then I started asking about biology. I said, sir, I think I want to change my major. And then he started asking me questions and stuff. He said, well, you should look into it. I switched my major into medical biology. And man, it was a lot of work. So I switched my major to medical biology. And then I became member of the biology club and the French club and all these different things and traveling. And there was a stipend for being in the biology club. I said, yes, And then I got a choir scholarship, and then I started singing in the choir and all these different things.
Scholarship.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
From?
It was amazing, and from that led to I applied for a government grant here. I think it's OSAP, right? Yep. And they gave me some limited amount of cash to help out with my spending stuff, I guess. So that helped out, and then I got on a choir scholarship. And how did that happen? I was frustrated, no money. You get what I'm saying? And this lady said, this old Caucasian lady said, how you doing? I said, I gave her so much attitude. I said, I'm not doing okay right now, okay? She was like, well, this is Southern country drool kind of talk. How you doing, young man? I said, I'm not doing good. I said, there's got to be something better going on in your life. Right? I love it. But she said, I was humming a song. And she said, what were you doing? What was that song about? And I really wanted to tell her, this is some old slave song. This is people who are going through hurt right now. I'm hurting badly. And I didn't say that, but this is what I wanted to say. But I said, it doesn't matter. And she said, my name is so, I don't remember the lady's name, but she said, come to my office. Sat down in her office. She had a piano. She said, could you, can you do what you're doing in the hallway, but do it to this do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do kind of thing, the scale, right? So I said, do, I don't have none. Re, mi, well, God help me. All right. So I said, okay. She sat at the piano and she did the thing. She said, sing it. So I said, do, re. She said, no, not with an attitude. And then she got feisty with me, right? I'm like, oh, okay. She was serious. She said, do it again. And then I did it. She said, wow. She said, sing it from your belly. I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I felt like I was about to get a spanking. Do you hear what I'm saying? So I did it. And she said, whoa, there's so much. There's a lot of hurt there. There is so much history behind that. Have you ever been on a choir scholarship before? I said, no. She said, you're on one. Go and so and so and so and so. Boom.
Andrew.
And from there, I was on a choir scholarship.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, she heard me. She was like, there's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of history behind what you just did a while ago. We can use that.
Wow.
And I was on the choir scholarship from the hallway walking down.
So do we get to hear an album soon or what with all your other?
It's something else. I think my singing comes about, it's really choral singing, like, that, it's that kind of stuff. It's that opera kind of singing stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I like. You know what I mean? So it's just, that's the kind of stuff we did there. I sang on the choir. We go and we do all these different concerts. We have to be in, tuxedo and looking proper and all this kind of stuff. But it was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. And it really, really showed that God can use anybody.
Yes. I don't want to fast forward too much, but
just wherever. You tell me where you need me to go and you lead and I'll follow. I'm fine with that.
We might have to make this into a 2-part series because I am just transfixed by you. I am so amazed.
It's God. It's not me. I
Well,
can't
amen
take
to
credit.
that. But you're telling the story, so you're the tool
Man,
right now, being
I'm
used
just
for
a
that.
tool. I'm just a
I'm not
vessel.
calling you a tool. You know what I mean.
I am. I understand. I am just a vessel, and we are all tools. We're members in the body. That's all we are. Nothing else.
So you're in there. You're getting your medical biology degree, correct?
Correct. Correct.
This choir scholarship. All of these fantastic things are happening to you.
Yes.
Come back to Canada.
Yes.
All right. Um, what happened? Like you come back to Canada. What was your career path? What were you saying? Okay, I'm going back home, and this is what I'm going to do.
It was before I got back to Canada. It was crazy because I did. There was another opportunity to do a degree in exercise science,
Right.
and I jumped on that, and I took that. Too. I was finished. I was like, okay, now that it's you're coming to the end. I was like, what do I do now? What's going on? And a couple of my friends said they wanted to go to medical school and so forth. So I was thinking about that too. And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to be that. And I started thinking, brainstorming about the things as I looking at my qualities, my expertise, and what I saw myself being passionate about. By just being in the program, I was around a lot of international students because I'm considered an international student, right? And a lot of them were coming to me with their problems. I was like, what? Some of them are coming to me like, hey, I need help. I need to get a job. I said, I'm not the president.
That's right.
And then the thought came to me. And there was an opportunity to run for president of the student international student club. And a lot of people said, go do it. I was like, please, I'm president, please. I ain't no president. But you know what's strange? I ran for the presidency, but I didn't get it. I didn't get it because I wrote a letter in the newspaper, school newspaper, when I saw the segregation, when I saw the dissension between the international students from different cultures. And I was like, this ain't right. I said, we need to come together. We come from many different places like our fingers, but we need to come together and make a fist. I said, what are the chances that we're meeting here in this place in Arkansas? You came from China, you come from Africa. What? Are you crazy? We got to make this work.
Right.
And so I started rallying them. I wrote the note and put it in the newspaper, and man, it backfired on me. They said, great, you want to bring everybody together. I said, that's not going to work for president. We're not voting for you.
Wow.
Didn't make it. So the Lord says, no, it's not your time. He said, you need to serve the person that they're putting in office. The person that they put in office had no idea about leadership. Absolutely no idea about leadership. So now I had to go and do everything for him, write his speeches, all these different things. I was like, are you serious? I'm doing all these things, and the Lord is mentoring me in that particular way by serving, right? The next year, the guy says, no, I am not this. He should be the president. Everything that I have done was because of him.
Well, good on him for saying that.
And then they voted me in. Now the president. So I was president of the International Student Association. I say that only because I started developing leadership qualities there. And so then after that, a couple of the teachers, my professors were saying, okay, Van, there's a master's program here. You need to go and try out for it. You need to go take the exam. And I studied for the exam probably about all night. And then I went to take the exam the next day. And I take the exam and then pass the exam. And then they said, well, you need to go and apply. There's an opportunity now for a full scholarship. I said, what? I said, come on, man. So it's getting gooder and gooder. That's Southern. And I'm really excited now. And they said there was only one scholarship left, Kim. This was the only one. And all the students already left for the summer. And they said, okay, fine, if you get this scholarship, this will pay for everything. It's the only one that gives you also a stipend. I said, are you for real? I said, look at God. He said, the day before, I didn't know what I was going to do. He said, go study, go home, study for the test, take the test. If you pass the test, then you will get something at the end of this rainbow. I followed what he said. I went home. I studied all night, didn't sleep. They said, if you didn't get any sleep, you're not going to do well on this test. I went in there, passed the test, got in, and then the lady said to me, guess who the person was that issued the scholarship? The person who I was working on her computers over the past couple of years, I had no idea who this woman was going to be. She now became the head of the college of Education.
Wow.
And she said, you are well, look at that, Andrew, I'm proud of you. Did you know there was a scholarship with your name on it? I said, yes. Sorry, I'm just pumped. I get excited when I see what God does.
Andrew,
Got the scholarship.
Driving a little rabbit 4 hours where everybody's begging him not to take the car. Now the scholarship.
Yes, got the scholarship, and I went there and I completed my master's of kinesiology. And then after I finished that, I got a job working for a professor, doing research for him. And I started learning how to do videos and different things. I was doing that for him. And then after, there was another opportunity that came up. And so now I applied to the University of St. Augustine, got in there, right? And then drove all the way from Arkansas all the way to Florida, right? Because I wasn't finished. And I said, Lord, there's got to be more. I cannot go home to Canada like this. I felt unfulfilled. I said, it's got to be more. My mama didn't come here and clean house for me to just come and get a master's degree. There's got to be more. And I got into University of St. Augustine, went there, started working on my doctorate and stuff, and it's 2008 now. And then the crash came about. There was no money, recession, and so the banks called in and say, hey, listen, hey, whatever money we were giving you to work on a doctorate, you need to start paying it back. So I'm like, Lord, what do I do? What do I do? Crazy things happened where I dropped out of doctorate program, and then the Lord worked it out where I didn't even apply, but got a job as a teacher. And I'm like, I'm not a teacher. I don't have a teaching degree. So the school said, if you're willing to go to school, we'll pay for the schooling for you to go get your degree for a certified professional certification as a science teacher. And I told her what my background was. I went there. I got the job before I even got the degree certification. They gave me the job and then paid for my schooling. I went there, finished the certification in science to teach science, and then I got the job there. Served there, and within 6 months of working with the troubled, at-risk kids, I got Teacher of the Year.
Oh my gosh!
And then this is just so amazing. And then after that, worked there for several years, and then Work Your Words was working in my brain because I was using my words to empower these youth. Some came from tragic background, mother in jail, dad got shot, and I sometimes had 45 students in my classroom.
Wow.
And they just came in because they felt safe there. I created that environment for them. They felt loved. I told them I couldn't read. Mr. Guy, please, you couldn't read. Right. He said, I couldn't read. And I tell them my story because the Bible said you're overcome. They are overcome by the what? Words of their testimony. And that's how you empower people. These guys wanted to come to my class. The principal said, listen, you're teaching these troubled kids. We need you to now teach the advanced kids because we want to increase our scores. I taught these kids, and for the first time in history, this school and some of the students from my school, from my class, got perfect on the science portion on the FCAT, the Florida Comprehensive Assessment Test. This is a guy who couldn't read. Do you hear what I'm talking about up in here? Wow. So he continues to use and work on this book called Work Your Words because I'm helping kids to find a pathway. We're all on a pathway, Kim. We're all trying to find this path. And we're doing all of these things. I call them experiments, right? And we're trying to experiment what's going to work. But the Lord will give you where you need to be. He will tell you. He will say, his voice will tell you. You hear a voice from behind you that says go left or go right. He will tell you where to go. And you just got to tune in to what he's doing, and he will lead you.
What I find really interesting listening to all of this, and I'm sure you know this, but I'm discovering through your words, every step of the way that I'm hearing you were put in a role of servitude. You were serving others. And that is a great learning. That's a great lesson right there. Learn how to serve others. If you want to be first, be last.
Correct.
So, put yourself under other people. Lift them up.
Yes. Correct.
And at the same time, you'll be lifted up.
Exactly.
And I see that in all of the steps that you're saying that you've been through, all of these things that just came to you,
Yes.
You were serving everybody. maybe it wasn't something you thought you were going to be in, a role you were going to be in, but every single
Right.
role you were serving somebody. I love that. I think that's beautiful.
That's what it's about.
That is what it's about. Now, I did hear you say in your mind, you started hearing work your words, work your words. And that just brings me. So I want to hear the whole story, Andrew, but for the sake of time,
I know.
I mean, we could do a part two. I mean, that's not a problem at all. So let's do that. So you're teaching. They've got the highest accolades that school's had in history, thanks to Mr. Andrew Guy. That's happening. I mean, some point you come back to Canada.
Yeah, so how that was, while I was teaching, by the way, the school where I went, where I did my master's and undergrad, that's where I met my wife.
Oh, you met her? Okay. I didn't realize that.
So I met her there. She's from the Bahamas, the home of Dr. Miles Monroe, my mentor. The guy about the kingdom, man. That's it. So I met her there. But the thing is, we got there to Florida now, and so I am teaching and I'm doing all these different things. And then the Lord was kind of giving us the signal that it's time to come home. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm working, teacher of the year.
Right.
Great. What are you talking about? Schools are calling me to speak, to teach other teachers how to do what I do. The district came to my classroom several occasions like, I want to see what Mr. Guy is doing. Why are his kids so pumped about school? These are quote unquote ghetto kids, as they would call them, right? Because I used to empower them. I said, listen to me. It's not the label they put on you. When you came in this world, you didn't have a label. And the most dangerous person in the world is the one without a label. Because as a science teacher, I told them, I said, if that jar doesn't have a label on it, it could be acetic acid because it looks just like water. I said, you can't come inside my classroom and go and put anything to your mouth or smell it. We waft in science. It's called waft, right? You disturb the air molecules around the particular container or substance, and it will give you whatever smell, give off an odor, and it will tell you if it's safe. And I said, you are label free. I said, you're not a dummy. And then I challenged my students, and I'm leading up to when we came back to Canada, I used to challenge them. And I said, listen, if you get a 90 or above on my tests, and my tests were hard, I said, if you get a 90 above on my test, you get to play me one-on-one in basketball.
Oh, wow.
And so I was quick. I was fast, right? I think I still am in my brain. But so all the students wanted to play me. So I said, okay, all right, you get a 95. 89, not going to happen, right? 89.5, not going to happen. I said, it's got to be 90 and above. I'm sorry. And you saw student, I'm talking dudes with their pants hanging off their behind, in the hallway, laying on the floor, talking about, I'm studying for Mr. Guy's test. The principal's like, you must be crazy. This don't happen. We beg these boys to study. They studying because they want to pass your test.
They respect.
And then when they pass my test, I said, you get one of my tie. And I would go to Walmart and I buy all of these different ties, right? And they said, Mr. Guy, if I get a 90, I'm getting a tie and I'm getting to play you. So students are walking around the school with my tie, wearing t-shirt. I said, you don't even go together, man. I said, you need a collar. I said, Mr. Guy, I'm rocking this just like this. So a principal see them wearing a tie. They say, okay, let me see the test. We know you did well on this test. Right. And that's what I used to challenge them. But when it was time for me to leave, I resigned there and then came back to Canada. It turns out that, my father was ill. And so it was within the reason or the time for me to get back here, because the thing is, I want to be in place for my mom just in case anything go down. And I don't want to get a phone call saying so and so and so. And I just felt that it was time for us to move on.
Were you married now, or are you guys still dating?
Oh, no. My wife don't do no dating stuff. She's one of the people that be like, hey, I wasn't brought here. The Lord didn't, she's a believer, all right? The Lord didn't put me on this earth and made me so fine to become nobody's girlfriend. She laid it down. I'm like, oh, girl, you talk about pressure. You better make a decision.
And she is fine.
Yes, but you know what's crazy though? You will know if it's the right one, because before we do anything, we prayed about it. Even the day on the marriage, I said, Lord, if this is not the one, I need you to do me a favor. I had to Gideon the Lord. I said, I need you to make it rain. I said, that's a simple thing. You can do this. I said, just make it rain. Because if it's raining, then I know this ain't for me. Just make it rain. I don't care if it's one drop. I'm going out and feeling. I'm feeling. I'm like, no water. None. This is ridiculous. After the wedding, poured.
Poured rain.
I said, that means this is a blessing. And 16 years later,